What if I told you that YouTube has secretly created an easy button for small creators? As someone who's grown my own channel and others from 0 to millions of total subscribers and dollars, I can tell you that this is a game changer. One of my partners, for instance, went from starting on YouTube to making $85K per month in 6 months from scratch using this strategy. And this easy button is revolutionizing how small creators grow. And if you're not using it, you're leaving money on the table. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to implement this strategy for explosive growth. Ready to learn the secret? All right, let's get started. Polished is out, real is in. Remember when every successful YouTube video looked like a mini movie? High production value, perfect lighting, flawless editing, edits constantly popping up on the screen every 1 to 3 seconds. Well, those days are over. Recently, Mr. Beast, arguably the biggest creator on the platform, said something that shocked a lot of people. He mentioned that he's actually editing less and focusing more on storytelling. And guess what? This isn't just a Mr. Beast thing, it's happening across YouTube. The platform is shifting towards authentic, less edited content. And this shift has lowered the barrier to entry for new creators in a big way. Think about it. When I started out, I thought I needed expensive cameras, lighting setups, and editing software to compete. Now, people are going viral with nothing but a smartphone and a story to tell. And this is a complete 180 from the retention editing era that we've been in the past few years. You know, those videos where every second was meticulously crafted to keep your attention. Well, this strategy is becoming less effective. Why? Because people are craving authenticity. They want real, relatable content, not perfectly polished productions. And as Viktor Frankl once said, when a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. And I believe that we're seeing a shift away from pure distraction and towards content that provides real value and connection. Now, let's talk about this easy button that I mentioned earlier. What do I mean by that exactly? Well, imagine going viral without spending a dime on equipment or editing. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it's happening right now all across YouTube in every niche. This guy, a complete newbie to YouTube, decided to record his first cold call attempt for his business, and it was an absolute disaster. He stumbled over his words, got rejected, and basically failed miserably. But here's the thing, that raw, authentic video hit 300,000 views overnight. Why? Because it was real. It was relatable. Every entrepreneur who's ever been nervous about making a cold call themselves saw themselves in that video. And this is what I mean by the easy button. It's not about fancy equipment or perfect editing. It's about being real and sharing valuable experiences. Now you might be thinking, Shane, that's just one example. Is this really a trend? Absolutely. And it's not just happening by chance. YouTube has actually made an algorithm change to favor this kind of content. They're actively pushing videos from smaller creators to compete with platforms like TikTok. But here's the thing. We don't know how long this window of opportunity will stay open. So if you haven't started your channel yet, now is the time. So small creators, listen up. You now have an unfair advantage on YouTube. When I started my channel, it took me months to hit 1,000 subscribers. Now I'm seeing new creators hit that milestone in weeks using this easy button approach. Why? Because YouTube is actively promoting smaller creators. They're trying to diversify the content on their platform, and that means giving new voices a chance to be heard. And this is huge for several reasons. First of all, rapid growth potential. Your videos have a better chance of being recommended to new audiences. Second, less need for expensive equipment. You can start creating high-performing content with just your smartphone. Third, there's a lower barrier to entry. You don't need advanced editing skills to compete. And fourth, you get to immediately start. You can begin creating content right away without months of preparation. But here's the key. This advantage won't last forever. As more people catch on, the competition will increase. And that's why it's crucial to start now and establish your presence while the algorithm is favoring new creators. And remember, in the words of Warren Buffett, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Right now, many are still fearful of starting on YouTube because they think it's too much work. And this is your time to be greedy. Now let's talk about something that might make you uncomfortable. Your quirks and flaws. Well, they could be your biggest asset on YouTube. Take Gary Vaynerchuk, for example. Love him or hate him, you can't deny his success. And a big part of that success comes from his unapologetic authenticity, his brash New York attitude, his occasional cursing, and his raw energy. These are all a part of his brand. Now, why does this work? Because authenticity creates a connection with your audience that no amount of polish can match. Think about it this way. When you meet someone in real life, do you connect more with a person who seems perfect and polished polished, or with the one who's real and relatable. It's the same on YouTube. This concept of unique value is crucial. It's the combination of your personality, your stories, and the information that you provide. That's what makes your content irreplaceable. And here's the best part. You can't get this wrong. Your quirks are uniquely yours. The way you explain things, your sense of humor, even your mistakes, these are all a part of what makes you, you. And as Oscar Wilde said, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. And on today's YouTube, this isn't just good life advice, this is a growth strategy. Now let's get into the meat of how you can leverage this trend. I like to call it the 3 pillars of successful easy button content. Master these and you'll have a formula for viral content. And when I started focusing on these pillars, my channel growth exploded from 10,000 to 100,000 to nearly 1 million subscribers. All right, so pay attention because this is the good stuff. The first pillar is a unique character authentically being themselves. This first pillar is all about showcasing your unique character. This isn't about playing a role or trying to be someone that you're not. It's about letting your true personality shine through. And remember, you're not just competing with other YouTubers, you're competing with Netflix, TikTok, and every other form of entertainment out there. So what do you have that they don't? You. That's what you have. It's you. Your unique perspective, your quirks, your way of explaining things. Don't be afraid to let your personality show. If you're naturally funny, let that humor come through. If you like dry, sarcastic humor, go ahead and show it in your content. And if you're a more serious and analytical person, that's totally fine as well. Embrace that. Your audience will appreciate your authenticity. The second pillar is storytelling. Humans are wired for stories. We've been telling them around campfires for thousands of years. Your brain lights up when you hear a good story. You literally can't even help it. Like if I tell you to not imagine a purple elephant in your head, you just imagined a purple elephant. And when someone tells you a story, you cannot help making a video in your head of that story. So share your own experiences. Talk about your failures as well as your successes, because people connect with vulnerability. So if you're teaching something, don't just give the information, tell the story of how you learned that information. And it's not just about your stories. Share stories of your clients, of people in your industry, of historical figures who illustrate your points, because stories make your content memorable and shareable. Just to give you an example, I used to be a pharmacist, which is pretty rare. Not very many other people are pharmacists. And I tell the story all the time of how I was really struggling in my 9-to-5 job working in the US healthcare system and how I absolutely hated it and I wanted to escape. Then I was able to start working remote, and then eventually I started my business and now I'm able to travel the world. This story is 100% true and it resonates with so many other people that hear it. And a lot of people that have joined my programs are people that are either pharmacists or they've worked in healthcare. And you can probably imagine why, because those types of people relate to the story that I told. The third pillar is providing valuable information. This is where your expertise comes in. What do you know that can help your audience? What insights can you provide? Here's the key. It's not just about regurgitating facts. It's about presenting information in a way that's useful and actionable to your audience. How can you break down complex topics into simple, understandable chunks? How can you incorporate your personality and teaching style into your content? For instance, when some people are consuming content, they want very serious teachers that are very scientific and analytical. When other people are consuming content, they might want somebody who's very positive and maybe cracks a few jokes here and there. And that actually helps them to learn the information. And a pro tip here is to focus on solving your customers' problems and pain points. When you solve problems, you alleviate pain. And when you alleviate pain, you create value. Now, when you combine these 3 pillars, unique character, storytelling, and valuable information, you create content that's not just entertaining, but it's also transformative. And that's what keeps people coming back for more. Now, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't warn you about some of the potential pitfalls of this easy button approach, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. First, there's the risk of oversaturation. As more creators catch onto this trend, we might see a flood of similar unpolished content, and standing out could become challenging. And if this happens, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel because I will update you on that. Second, while authenticity is key, you still need to provide value. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you can just turn on your camera and ramble with a 25-minute ADHD yap session, right? Your content still needs to have structure and purpose, and realize that a lot of people that see your content don't know who you are. So you want to assume that everyone who sees your content doesn't know who you are, and also assume that they probably are watching your content after an entire day of working, so they're tired. So you want to make your content so simple that a 5th grader could understand it. Third, we need to consider potential future algorithm changes. YouTube is constantly evolving. What works today might not work tomorrow. And that's why it's crucial to build a solid foundation and not rely solely on trending strategies. Now, I've seen creators go viral with authentic content only to struggle with consistency afterwards. So don't let that be you. Plan for long-term success by balancing authenticity with strategy and consistency. And remember, the easy button is a tool, not a magic wand, so use it wisely. Now that we've covered the what and the why, let's talk about the how. How can you leverage this easy button trend to grow your channel? The key is to niche down, and I cannot emphasize how unbelievably important this is. Your niche is your superpower. Let me give you an example. One of my clients was struggling to gain traction with general productivity advice. He basically was trying to be a clone of Ali Abdaal. And what we did is we worked together to niche down his content to specifically helping foreign exchange students get into elite schools in the United States. Now, why did we do this? Because he was a foreign exchange student that got into an elite school in the United States. And he went from making basically zero money to making over $85,000 a month within 6 months. Now, the more specific your niche, the easier it is to become the go-to expert and attract a dedicated audience. Notice how specific we niched down with him. It wasn't just helping people get into college, it was helping foreign exchange students get into college. And it wasn't just any type of college, it was an elite university. And as the saying goes, the riches are in the niches. So here are some practical tips for creating authentic, easy button content. First of all, you want to start with what you know. What are you an expert in? What do people come to you for advice about? And if you're not an expert, that's totally fine. Just like the example we gave earlier with Monet, as long as you're authentic and you're honest about it, you can still get a ton of views just by sharing your journey of becoming an expert. And let's say you're a 3 out of 10 at whatever skill you're doing, you can teach a 1 out of 10 how to get to 3 out of 10. And if you're a 7 out of 10 at whatever skill you're doing, you can teach a 3 out of 10 how to get to 7 out of 10. You don't necessarily have to be a 10 out of 10. And in many cases, 3 out of 10s and 7 out of 10s are actually better at teaching newbies than people who are experts, because the experts haven't been newbies for like 10 or 15 years. Next, be consistent. Set a realistic upload schedule and stick to it. Consistency builds trust with your audience and the algorithm. I recommend at least once per week, and realistically, the perfect upload schedule is 3 times per week on YouTube. Next, embrace imperfection. Don't let the pursuit of perfection hold you back. Done is better than perfect. Also, use simple equipment, especially when you first start. Your smartphone is probably good enough to start, so focus on content, not the gear. 99% of the time when my clients are telling me they don't want to record content because they don't have the right camera or the right mic, it's just an excuse that their brain is making up in order to not take action. Next, engage with your audience. Respond to comments, ask for feedback, and create content that answers their questions. Remember, you're aiming to be the brain surgeon, not the general practitioner. So go deep into your niche and aim to be the absolute best in the world at what you do. That's how you stand out in a crowded platform. And going back to Viktor Frankl's point about finding a deep sense of meaning, do that with your content, but also for yourself. Your YouTube channel can be more than just a business tool. It can be a way to share your knowledge, help others, and leave your mark on the world. And it can also be an incredible self-development tool. Now let's go over some examples of some of my students who use this easy button method in order to achieve success that they never dreamed imaginable. Nicole, for instance, when I first met her, had about 85 subscribers.
I was just uploading videos with no real goal or aim. I think I had around about 85 subscribers.
And she was getting 0 traction on YouTube. She was super scattered, but after working with me, we clarified things, and she's now helping women break into high-paying cybersecurity jobs. And after doing her launch, she was making over $80,000 a month. When Josh first met me, he was making less than $1,000 a month on YouTube, and he had a tiny little channel, and he was helping people with all kinds of different things, helping people get into college and just really random topics. And now he helps people get into very specific IT careers, and he's doing over $180,000 a month. If you want to talk to myself or my team about how you can do this as well, then click the link down in the description and the pinned comment below to schedule a call. And I can promise you, whether or not we end up working together, this will be one of the most valuable calls you ever attend. And this is especially good for you if you're a business owner that's been thinking about starting on YouTube, or you've even already tried to start but you haven't had any success, or if you're a YouTuber that wants to figure out how to turn your YouTube channel into an actual business. And in the meantime, check out my video I did on some of the best monetization strategies on YouTube by clicking right here.